Children are the world's most valuable resource and its best hope for the future. Greetings, viewers. Welcome to another edutaining episode of Keister, the Real Talk Show. With me, your ever so beautiful host, Keister. In tonight's episode, I will be speaking with a former child soldier during the Rebel War, a philanthropist with over 10 years' experience. He is also the co-founder of the Sick Pikin Project, an organization that seeks to raise funds for kids with extreme health complications. Over the years, our guest and his partners have helped over 2,058 children who needed medical assistance. His name? Find out right after the break.
Let's watch the Real Talk with Aline TV show. By our very own daughter of Sierra Leone, Aline Keister.
Welcome back to Keister, the Real Talk Show. I already did my intro. Help me welcome Ishmael Alfred Charles. Welcome, Ishmael. Welcome.
Thank you so very much for having me here.
We both have a cold right now. You can hear my voice, right? It's kind of like that. I don't know if I give me or not me. I don't know. But anyways,
Maybe we give ourselves.
But thanks for coming through. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I read your bio. I didn't read all of it in the beginning, but I read it personally, and we're gonna talk about you, Ishmael. I mean, first of all, you were a child soldier. Imagine that. How did you become one?
During the days in the Sierra Leone conflict, my parents were separated. So my mom, was living in Wellington,
Okay.
Maxwell Street precisely, and my dad used to love diamonds. I said used to because he's no more alive.
Okay.
And so because of these, he was spending a lot of his time in a village in Kono
Okay.
called Yomandu. And so when the conflict was becoming intensified and J6 was getting pretty close, many people were worried that, Freetown only have one route out of Freetown. And so my mom said, those rebels, they said they want to capture boys. So it's better for you to go to your dad. Had she known, unfortunately,
That was
she
not
thought
good.
she thought it would be safer in Kono. Little did she realize that the rebels were more interested in capturing Kono because of the diamonds than even Freetown. So Freetown was very important to them, but of course Kono was
More important, and diamonds are
because
there.
they needed to have the blood diamonds. So unfortunately, I got to Kono, and it was very short-lived. Then they attacked Kono. And you know how it is when the rebels always attack, people run here and there.
Right.
Parents run their own direction and children run their own direction. So I actually ran together with my stepmom and we went together to a village and out of the way. And, then unfortunately I got captured, 3 years in a row, back and forth behind
For 3 years.
behind the circles, yes. But
What was it? I mean, how was it like? What was the experience like? I mean, I think you're good. Now look at you. So I know you came out good. Others were unfortunate, but for you, the experience been a part of this.
The experience I will tell many young people today, it's part of the campaign that I also do when I engage young people,
Okay.
that we should never be excited for Sierra Leone to go back into conflict.
Right.
Because it's not a beautiful experience. I mean, I saw, what real suffering looks like. I saw very many gross and inhumane kind of treatments where rebels will argue about sex of a baby in a pregnant woman's tummy. They will do a lot of unimaginable things. It's not something we want to talk about these days, just that it's also very important for people who feel that it's right to have a conflict. When we are politically drunk, we forget what we have as a country, and then we start talking BS. Unfortunately, excuse my French, but the point is a lot of people don't understand what conflict looks like. It doesn't know your name, it doesn't know your tribe, it doesn't know your religion. It comes out anybody who is still living within the given area. And so Sierra Leone was once wounded and we should never again.
Yeah, I mean, we were fortunate. I was fortunate. I wasn't here, but we heard stories. We see some of these people now, of course, you know what I mean? Like Shotan Longan, you know, you know, a lot of people are still mentally disturbed from it, you know. So of course, you sitting right here is an inspiration. But I mean, being, you know, back there with them with all this experiences, like, what was the hardest thing for you? Did you have to kill anyone? Did you?
Not in a specific way, but collective responsibility is such a
Right.
psyche thingy
Right.
because you're there and you feel very powerless that people are being killed in front of you.
Right.
And so I always pretended. I mean, I finished writing my book. I published it in German,
Oh,
and by November, hopefully, we will get the English
I was
version.
gonna say German. I didn't expect me to read it.
Well, I had a publisher that was willing in Germany to publish the German version quickly.
Okay.
So the English version needed more retweaking.
Mm-hmm.
And thankfully, just a few days ago, Sister Ariana finished, her final review of it. So
Okay.
now it's ready. We're just getting the pictures revamped, and then we will go back to the publisher and get everything set.
Okay.
So we're looking forward, in getting it out in November, God willing. But I have what I call my three miracles, and these are different circumstances wherein I will have actually had, one of my hands chopped off, or been killed, or been, you know, shot at by the fighters' jets, the EcoMog fighters' jets, which
Whoa.
was coming mostly at the soldiers. It was an opportunity for me to escape. That was one of the very, significant times that I had opportunity to escape from the rebels.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also very, very scary and worrying because it was a direct confrontation between the fighters jets and the rebels, because they were very silly. They thought they could easily shoot the jet,
The Jets.
and
So
when the jet plays like it was being shot already, they were very excited and they will start celebrating and screaming, and then the jet drops two
drops.
bombs. So, and it's indiscriminate because you don't know who is there. Civilian casualty was an obvious thingy.
Right.
But thank God I'm here today.
Thank God. Thank God. How did you? I mean, how were you able to overcome all of these things? Like just going through all of it. Your mental health. How
My
were you
mom.
able?
So my mom was I mean, back in the days, I didn't even understand what mental health was or what psychosocial counseling was.
Okay.
But my mom always told me, don't tell the story to anybody. You're not allowed to tell this to anybody, because she knew for a fact that if I tell people, it was going to be very difficult for people to be able to understand
Mm-hmm.
and take off the responsibility as a child, because I was only 9 years
Imagine
and I was
that.
behind rebel lines from 9 to 12. So it's very difficult for my mom to be able to uh, explain that to her friends, or me
Yeah.
explaining that to my friends, because people in Freetown understands the magnitude of the conflict, but not as much as folks who were in the provincial areas do understand it, because you have to run from one place to the
To the
other,
other.
and there was hunger, access to water was huge, it was a major problem, and so even issues with getting access to salt,
Salt.
just salt, because you can go to the bushes and find cassava in one
And
of
other
those
things, but you can't
farmlands and
find
stuff like
salt.
that, but you can't find salt to put
Wow.
on it, and it was very, very expensive.
Wow.
Extremely very. Salt was, I mean, ask people who were in the provincial areas for the conflicting days, they will tell you how important salt was. But at the end of the day, when I came back to Freetown, my mom, before I came to Freetown, my mom will go where they will um, where the people whose hands were actually being maimed,
Okay.
were being brought in trucks. And Red Cross was doing a fantastic job at those times. They're doing family tracing and things like that. And so at Connaught, many people will go and check for their relatives whose hands were being maimed
Okay.
and identify them, or corpses and stuff like that.
Okay.
So my mom was there almost every day,
So your mom really helps you.
checking to see if I was there.
Okay.
But fortunately, she had one of her friends, Auntie Fatu. Well, I guess she's of blessed memory as my mom is. She saw me in Magburka,
Okay.
and so she said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, well, when we came from Kano, this was where we were able to stay. And so at the end of the day, she came back to Freetown and informed my mom. She went there to buy banana and stuff like that, fruits that she could come and sell in Freetown. So my mom sold a few of her jewelries and was able to send transport fare for me.
For you to come.
And I came back to Freetown.
Praise God. Hallelujah.
And we kept the story, we kept the secrets until I first told my story in an official space in 2012 when I met an American priest.
You know what? We have a long way to go. Hold that thought right there, because I'll be right back after this.
It's a brand new song for our customers. Where they bank with us all over the universe.
As the holiday dey done and the pikin and day about for gonna school back, you be get something special for make you smile. If you collect Western Union, RIA, MoneyGram or Africash, now any of them you be a branch them, you get the chance for benefit from school supply them like bag, water bottle, pen, exercise book and plenty other thing them. During this same promotion, if you open UBA Kiddies and Teens account with 250 loans no more, you picking go get the chance for take part in the raffle draw for win 1 year scholarship where they up to 25,000 new loans. Just enter na any UBA branch all over the country and benefit from this promotion. No forget to gifts, scholarship, UBA gets everything where you pikin need for go back na school. No delay, UBA ready for put smile na you pikin in face. This promotion they start now till October done. Wetin you dey wait for? UBA, Africa's Global Bank.
Top the continent, with the mobile app, you go top up before. So you go call you party in party, so we all go gladdy.
I am still here. This is Ellen Keister, the Real Talk Show. If you just walked in, I have Ishmael Alfred Charles, who is the co-founder of Sick Picking Project. We're going to get to that, of course. You know, before everything that somebody's doing, there's a story. His story is really interesting. And I mean, look at him. He should be really inspiring because he was a child soldier. You know what I mean? Like, this is huge. Like he was explaining, help me welcome Ishmael. Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we were talking about, you know, I was trying to find out how you were able to get over it. And you mentioned your mom. Like you were saying, can you please continue?
Well, so like I said, I didn't tell the story, and my mom has always helped me, you know, back in those days when she was still here.
Okay.
She always admonished that I shouldn't tell my story. And so I didn't tell my story until in 2012. I mean, few family members got to know portions of the story, not in full package. And in 2012, I met with, well, he's also late now, Father Dan. Father Dan Sullivan is an American priest, who was an American priest. And in our conversation, and he was the executive director of my job at the Haley International Relief Foundation.
Okay.
And so we were talking, you know, in a legislative conversation. And so we just talked and talked and talked. And then we ended up, and he was asking questions about my experience if I was in Sierra Leone when the rebel war, you know, happened. And I said, yes. I happened to be a former child soldier, and he became very intrigued and wanted to know more. And so I told him my story. The first 3 pages of my book, he wrote. And he said, we will call your story a story of resilience, because you cannot have such a beautiful story, look at your life today and don't tell people, because many people will feel life is at the end when they have a crossroads circumstances. And so you should be able to use your story to inspire people. So that's how I started telling my story. And I had the first opportunity to speak at the United States Catholic News Network about my story, and then it started going viral.
It started going viral. Now you have a book coming out, even though it's in German. We're waiting for the English version, you know. But then you have one of the biggest projects in Sierra Leone. I mean, you're doing so well because of all this experience. I think you did say it a little earlier is the reason why you're doing what you're doing. Because you know others maybe did not quite make it out or mentally they're not ready, but with you it was more like, let me do something for the kids in particular. You know what I mean? So did that really make you want to do it? Or at the same time, it's just a thing where, oh, let me just use the opportunity?
So there are many deep reflective stories into what I do.
Okay.
Firstly, you know, growing up, I had always wanted to be a medical doctor. But unfortunately, mathematics was not a friend of mine. So when I failed mathematics, Mrs. Ogu, my principal then in Prince of Wales said, Charles, I'm sorry, you can't get into the sciences with that grade in maths.
Terrible grade.
So I said, okay, ma'am. Well, for some reason at those time, I don't know where I got it from, but I thought commercial was more for ladies, which I don't know where that was coming from. So but then I said, okay, well, maybe I go into the arts and maybe I can become a lawyer or but then I knew deep down I had more compassionate desire that couldn't allow me to actually find myself in a courtroom. So I decided to, when I get into Frabbe College, I read a peace and conflict studies and then went to Fordham University and read international humanitarian assistance and eventually found myself within the humanitarian world. And 5 years ago, we started the Sick Picking Project. But before that, even my elder sister had, passed away from a heart enlargement because we were very poor. That's the true story. We were not able to pay for her medical bills, to be able to have a comprehensive medical review to tell even what the problem was. We only were able to confirm what was wrong after she had passed. And so then fast forward, when baby Mustafa came into the picture, there was no desire to set up a sick picking project. So we were doing, that was just a few months after the mudslide that happened in 2017, running into 2018, just after the elections. We had baby Mustafa came to my executive director, Father Peter Conte at Caritas, and the mom was looking for help because we were on the news for some reason because we were doing so much with the response. And so she said, I'm looking for help. I'm looking for money because my child has a condition called biliary atresia. First time here in the world, I went on Google.
I was going to say, I think it was during that time, I think Sierra Leone, we all heard it too.
Yeah. So I went on Google and I did my research and my instinct just said, let me take a picture with baby Mustafa. Because Father Peter was asking, Charles, what do we do in such a case? So I said, well, I don't know, Father, because we don't have money. This might be something very expensive. And indeed, when we found out in a hospital in India, it was $36,000. In the United States was $1 million.
Excuse me?
It was $1 million. In Europe, Germany precisely, it was 80,000 euros. So we said, okay, well, maybe let's try to India and see if we can be able to raise money for that. That was even still very huge. But as grace will have it, I took a photo and then wrote a little piece and put it on my Facebook and started sharing it on WhatsApp.
Yeah, we all saw
and
it.
Stuff like that.
So that's when Sick Picking Project was born.
And a few journalist friends, grabbed it and published in their newspapers and then, called me for interviews in their TV and radio stations. And so it started going viral.
Right.
Few months down the line, $15,000 was raised. After a friend of mine just donated $1,000 and then I said, oh, so I had more confidence that if I continue to do this,
more money is going to come in.
More friends who will decide to put. And so we got $15,000 and somebody said, you don't want to reach to the first lady? I said, I don't have her contact. I don't know her. I said, I'm not a politician. But they said, oh, well, you can reach to her.
Because you never know.
She may be of help. So I started sending her several text messages in the morning and in the evening. And I was only asking for 2 minutes appointments so I can pitch. For some reason, at the end, she thought baby Mustafa was my son. And she was wondering why I had so much interest in somebody else's son.
Son, right.
Well, the compassionate part of me, override and overtook everything that I do in my life up till today. So sometimes I get people take advantage of me. But that's another
right, because we'll talk about all of that.
But at the end of the day, we were able to get her attention, and she said, "Well, bring the baby. Well, come and tell me more about in person."
The case.
So when I went with my camera team. I went with baby Mustafa and the grandmother because the mom was sick. And so I didn't have to pitch anything to her. Once she saw baby Mustafa, it was sacrosanct. That's how his condition was everywhere. You could see him. You will feel him.
I remember saw the
You know,
pictures.
so immediately she saw Baby Mustafa and she carried Baby Mustafa. Baby Mustafa's temperature was very high. And she said, wow, take him back. This bikini body too warm. And I said, ma'am, let me don't take him back. This is just what Baby Mustafa lives on every day. So if you just talk about what you feel as a mother carrying him right now, then that's enough. And she just went into it because she was emotionally already drained by
that's a
feeling
baby,
and seeing.
that's a
And his
child.
mouth was yellowish, his eyes were yellowish, he looks very jaundiced and everything. So camera shoots, and then, you know, in 24 hours, I had already received over 400 phone calls. I couldn't sleep. People were
So
calling
how much
me.
were you able to raise for Baby Mustafa?
We raised $41,000.
Okay. So that
And
was
the
a lot
targets
more
were
than you
36. So we had $5,000 extra.
Oh, that's good.
And this was in a few days. And so at the end of the day, we then got Baby Mustafa, you know, to fly to India.
Okay.
His surgery was done. I went there 3 days before his surgery was done, after it was scheduled. And I went there, and I was there when the surgery was done successfully. A few weeks ago, we celebrated, well, last week precisely, we celebrated Baby Mustafa's 6th birthday.
Imagine that if you weren't there. I mean, what would have happened?
And he's doing very well, and he's now in France.
Okay.
Yep. He's
So
in Cannes.
I read earlier that you've helped like 2,015 people. I mean, is that the right number? Because that was our research. So you're here now.
So from Baby Mustafa's, from cases that we raised money for, whether those monies were donated by an institution or a group or individual, or from our street fundraising campaigns, you know, where we use the boxes and collect the little pennies from here and there, we've been able to help 296 kids.
In Sierra Leone.
In Sierra Leone.
Okay.
So the 2,000 people has include both those. We've had many kids whose, just last year we had 7 kids, you know, whose parents paid for their surgeries. We don't put those cases on our Facebook page because we're not raising money for
they
them.
are taken care of.
Yes.
Okay.
So a child, you know, one child especially whose father was a barrister, he's a barrister. He reached out that he wants to send his child for a surgery in India. We did all the coordination and everything, and facilitated and got the visa applied for and paid for and everything, and then, you know.
So that's why the numbers are high. But
that's why the numbers are high.
The ones you've raised money for, including, like you said, the street project and everything. Because I remember one time I was driving down the street and I saw you guys, and I was like, this guy very serious with this. You know what I mean? So that's why the number is high, 2,000. So we're trying to get it straight. But for a Pekin project to raise money is 296. That's still high, and I think that's a beautiful job. Well done. I mean, it's, you know, for somebody you're not connected to, somebody you don't know. Like you said earlier, even the first day you thought that was your son. You know, because who really does that in Sierra Leone? You know what I mean? Not everyone can do it. And I think these are one of the reasons why I wanted to just have you here, talk to you, you know, to say thank you for all you do, but at the same time for people to also come in and help and take it seriously. Because I know in the beginning it was more like, okay, who that is guy, you know, it is money. Because you know how people think when it comes to raising funds, getting funds from people, it's hard for people to really.
We still get that.
Are you serious with even all the success stories?
We still get that. I can tell you, we still getting that every day. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
We're still getting that. I mean, even sometimes from passerbys, you know, drivers, you know, motorists who passes, they are sometimes, you know, not so friendly, because some people will apply the gas when they get so close to us, you know, and still some people ask questions, who are they?
Yeah, what's in the power that, okay.
What did they do with the money? You know, and one of the very sad and unfortunate questions that we get all the time is, someone will pass today, you know, thankful enough with her humble heart, they will put their 20 leons or 10 leons, and we're looking for $24,000. Yeah? And then 1 month after, they pass and they see us again. They're still begging money for the same Pekin. They don't even understand. When we raise a minimum of 22 million leons or 22,000 leons in our new money, that's when we get $1,000.
Exactly.
So imagine when we're looking for $24,000.
That's not a joke.
And we have to beg this money in leons. And then we're very excited that we don't reach 100 million leons, and then we go to the bank and we ask what that
The exchange rate.
translates to, and they said it's 5,200. Okay.
But you keep going and keep going, and that's it. Resilience, as your the guy in Germany was saying, you guys keep going and you're still doing it. And I mean, we're all gonna help raise awareness. We share the the pages here and there because you can't really hold anyone to ransom. It's their money.
Exactly.
It's what they want to do. But however, it's real. He's had loads of success stories. He's here with me, so don't go anywhere because I'll be right back after this.
Emmy, I need for renew my vehicle insurance and driver's license. Oh no, Tem don't go safe. And this agent self not a picking call. How I go do now? My insurance self don't expire.
You want to say you know your yet but Smart Pay?
Smart Pay?
Smart Pay don't come for make it easy for me and you. No need for left your office again or host for go do renewal or even call agents. You can simply go online and visit their website on www.smartinsuresl.com for renew insurance or www.slrsaonline.gov.sl for renew license. All you need for doing for complete the online form, submit them, and then pay with SmartPay.
SmartPay don't make life easy for we salon people. We just this my cash card. I dey use them for pay bills na restaurants, supermarket, and I can even use them for buy tickets for events, pay university fee. And all done deal, I dey even use them for pay ETSA, prepaid and postpaid. And I dey even use the same card for shop online with no cause to complain. Because you can put as much money as you want inside this card.
Not forget about the gift card, which you can use for gift posting. In fact, to explain right now, I know they accept no gift if you know they're in the form of SmartPay gift card because I can use that also I want and how I use them.
Eddie Mamina you get. Yeah? Before I forget, una went to sports betting. SmartPay don't make it easy for una for place una bet and collect una winning. They allow go do one time online.
You don't get your SmartPay? Go cashless with SmartPay.
Doro World Traveler. How is your Miami vacation going?
Fine, babe. I'll be back next week and I've bought you a lot of things.
Well, I hope the designer bag you promised is included though. No excuse this time.
That expensive bag? Babe. I am now in Malaysia.
UBA cards work from Moscow to Malaysia, from Malaysia to Miami. Bros, you can't escape this time.
Hell. Babe, are you there? I can't hear you again, oh. Your line is breaking. Hello? Wherever you travel in the world, don't go without your UBA card. UBA, Africa's global bank.
Welcome back to Ellen Keister, the Word Talk Show. If you just walked in, I have Ishmael Alfred Charles here with me. He's a co-founder for Sick Picking Project. Of course, I'm pretty sure if you're on social media, you know him because he keeps pushing, looking for money for all these kids that are going, through, a lot that have medical complications that even I can't even pronounce some of these things. But anyways, welcome back, Ishmael. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We're talking about, raising funds. Like we were saying, some of the things you get in the streets is the fact that people don't understand how much you're looking for. And they think, okay, not just a big. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure deep down they probably think, these some of them go that in pockets and things like that. But with this 296, kids, are just kids or you involve adults as well? Even though his name's Sick Picking, are you just focused on kids or you've had
So
some
we
adult
only
cases?
focus on kids.
Okay.
For the 296, it's kids aged 0 to 16 years only that Sick Picking Project raises money for. Mm-hmm. We do facilitate and support others.
Okay.
If you can find your own money, we will always link you up with hospitals. Okay. But if we have to raise money, our mandates only allow kids 0 to 16.
Okay. So with all the 296, I pray it's been great. Have you you know, had any unfortunate, like, you know, any fatality,
We
or
have.
everyone has been successful? Oh.
We've had many, many unfortunate cases. We've had few cases that in 2022 we lost 6 kids, and out of which 4 were 3, sorry, had already done their surgeries, and after the surgeries they ran into complications. So that sometimes, you know, is triggered by the fact that we only get the money very, very late,
Okay.
when the complications may have reached the critical stage.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's more of what we call patching that we do. So we try to patch lives, and unfortunately, they flip backward after, you know, but yeah.
Okay. So what, I mean, have you reached out, you know, you mentioned Fatima earlier, but that's the First Lady. Have you tried to reach out to the government to come in and help at all?
Sick Picking Project actually is known by everybody who is in a position of trust in my country.
Okay.
And so we do reach out, so individuals, and both as in official manner and on a private level.
Okay.
We've had very good, you know, state officials, government officials, you know, who are like the current Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Mm-hmm.
He's a goodwill ambassador of the Sick Picking Project.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have also the Deputy Minister of Mines, I guess, Umaru Napoleon, or Timothy Kaba, you know, all those folks are actually patrons of Sick Picking Projects.
Okay.
Nonetheless, it's still very difficult because these are just individuals who are willing to support in their own ways. We've never had any funding from the government as a project. What used to happen, which hasn't happened since 2022 around July, is Sick Picking Project will write on behalf or together with the family to the government through the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, and then the ministry and the government will provide support directly to the family. Okay. And we will help the family to coordinate and get to the hospital and stuff like that.
But they haven't done that, you say, since July?
Since July 2022, unfortunately. We have many cases that have gone through the medical board, approved by the board, but no support has been provided yet.
So I'll assume there's, you know, some of the challenges you face as an organization. Is there any more?
Right now, there are 68 kids sitting on our list that wants surgery.
Oh, wow. And there's no money at all?
There's no money. I mean, the money we raised pretty recently, we had our charity event, you know, in May, and we raised money and all the street fundraisings, plus what we had raised, you know, from the street fundraising since last year, and a few other folks. I turned 40 the past April, and I did a fundraiser that folks don't need to give me back the gift; they can just put into my birthday.
Right. I mean, that's a good gesture.
And one of my colleagues, Vicky Middleton, you know, who's based in the United States, donated $5,000 as part of my birthday gift for baby Esther. So because we were looking for $24,000 for Esther, well, now Esther, you know, just arrived at the Freetown International Airport in Lunge after a successful surgery. You know, even though there are backstories with complications that may kick in, because it's the condition is one that is triggered by overgrowing nerves.
Okay.
You know, so
that's the one that had the baby that had the tumor,
the huge tumor in her mouth.
Okay.
Yes. You know, but we're very grateful and happy to see how.
I mean, that's a success story right there.
You know,
what has been the most expensive surgery you had to pay for? Was it Baby Mustafa, or it's been
Baby Mustafa's surgery was the most expensive.
Okay.
We've never had any other case that is $36,000, but we've had other cases that are close to $30,000.
Like this was 24,000.
Yes, like... and we've had a 28,800 case.
Okay.
You know, Aminata, and also we've had. Not too long ago, Hassanatu, who is doing very well. She's growing very well. Baby Hassanatu, because we had to fly her from Freetown on oxygen from Freetown via Turkey to Delhi on oxygen. Because she couldn't breathe on her own. She had a congenital heart disease.
So she has to go with a nurse or a doctor. So that's even more money, and with the family as well.
She had to travel with the nurse and the mother. And so that actually required more money, you know, and then the surgery itself was a whooping $28,000 because of the level of complications that was involved.
Okay. So, I mean, I know we're not really equipped as far as, the health system here, but with all these cases you're getting, as much as we want to fly them out, have you tried to maybe have some contact in India where they're able to come maybe to Sierra Leone and see how they can help? Sometimes we hear doctors are coming in, giving, for women and things like that. Have you tried the other way around? Just like you're saying, you have 68 people here. I mean, no, there are different cases, I know, different things happening, but have you maybe tried that route?
We have, and we continue to explore that opportunity and that possibility. Sick Picking Project has already purchased, portion of land, which is pretty far, and so we're also pushing and requesting from the Ministry of Lands if they could give us something closer.
Okay.
But we already have a portion of land in Newton, and we're asking if we can have something closer, because one of or two of the main things that we want to build for is, one is to have our own theater, so that is well equipped, that we can always have doctors, because some of the problems that doctors do get is when they want to come, also there are certain equipments that they need
that we don't have.
And if we champion and raise money for those, and then get those equipments into a public owned facility, we can't guarantee its safety for the longest period. But if it's directly under our responsibility, we will take responsibility to protect.
I mean, this is for Sick Picking Projects. I think, as long as you're able to help Sierra Leoneans, it's not like you're picky when it comes to the kids that are sick. So either way, I think it's doable. If you're able to get the land, get some money, and do your thing, I think people will understand, because you still give them access.
And the second most significant reason why we want to have our own building also is because children, with conditions that are physical, they get to be discriminated mostly by property owners, landlords. We had Aminara, who came from a village in Cambia, who was thrown out together with her mom by a landlord around Ferry Junction axis, because he said the girl looked very scary, and he was worried that the girl will transfer her condition to his grandchildren.
Serious.
So yeah, unfortunately, we didn't even get to know the story until they went. So we were waiting to get the doctor's appointments confirmed. And when we got the doctor's appointment confirmed, we called the mom, please bring the child tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. And she said, we're back in the village. She passed the same night.
Oh no.
So we've had at least 3 of those kind of situations. We've had many other kind of circumstances wherein we had Senesi, also a boy from somewhere around the Moyamba axis. For him to actually come to Freetown, we had to even disguise him. We gave him hood, we gave him, shawl, like he was feeling cold, or dressing like he was in a snow-like area. But then that was just to actually cover and reduce what people can see. When passengers saw him, they decided not to stay in the same vehicle. Yeah.
So they've definitely been discriminated. Because Salon, the whole thing, I'm going to say, okay, this is something at Debu.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's exactly what a lot of people say, is that this is not Debu, Bikin, and all those kind of things. People don't understand. And so part of the challenge we get is the health education. So we need a lot of health education.
So you have a lot of work. I mean, you started it, and you have a lot of work to do. But I know you're gonna make it through, because all we need to do, I think, as Sierra Leoneans, is really try to make it a lot more popular, where people believe in what you're doing. Because I know a lot of people might be a little skeptical, still thinking, oh, it's something I own personal business and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So
that's very interesting when you touched that. A lot of people still don't know up till today that I have 2 paid jobs. And so someone was asking, how do you manage that? I said, I don't know. Grace does.
2 paid jobs. Hold it right there. Don't go anywhere, because I'll be right back after this.
Hi, I am Leo, a super geek who's obsessed with artificial intelligence. I'm sure you're wondering how I got here.
Hi, Tony. It's been hard trying to find a quick way to send the cash across to you. The bank is quite far from where I stay.
Girl, I'm trying to call that pop-up shop I saw on IG. I need them shoes for a party this weekend.
Wait a minute. I can solve all these problems. All I have to do is get back to my geek zone and get cracking. That's how I created this great virtual solution. Chat with me on Facebook Messenger and experience a whole new world of banking solutions without going to the bank. Make transfers, buy airtime, get account statements, and more. After all, going to the bank is boring. Like, I can't drink this delicious coffee and fill a teller at the same time. Get it?
We're almost at the end of the show. If you just walked in, I have Ishmael Alfred Charles, co-founder of Sick Picking Project. I know soon I must not hear you on Facebook because he doesn't play when it comes to that organization. Ishmael, they post, it go share for let you see him because he still need more money. Of course, he still try to raise funds. And it been just to talk about job then. So it don't need them for impersonal use. It's just to help people. Welcome back, Ishmael. Welcome.
Thank you so very much.
He has 2 jobs in Sierra Leone, 2 paid jobs. Now let's get into the job. We've talked about the organization. Of course, you're still struggling. Hopefully the government is able to help somehow. Because personally, not everybody can, and we can't really hold them to ransom, like I said. It's just people willing to do it. Not everybody has the heart like you and I, you know what I mean? So, but still, if you don't know about time and you just see it now, it's real. So many stories. You're going to see some of the pictures, some of the videos, as we talk right now. It'll help so many people. Enough family to none. It's not family. It's just whoever is going through complications, he gets to help them. So I just tell you normally, you understand, say, he still needs help. So now Ishmael, because it's a lot for you, I think. If we sit on there and say, in phone just the buzz, I should say now, that case gonna come. So I really want for the how you able for balance your life, your job, your family, and everything else with helping other people. But let's go to the jobs. What do you do?
So on my paid jobs, I work for Haley International Relief Foundation, which is a US 501c3. I work as the in-country manager.
Okay.
Excitingly enough, Haley Foundation is into healthcare too.
Okay.
So we work with 5 hospitals and 11 clinics. And Haley Foundation sends into Sierra Leone medical equipment and medicines and other supplies that we distribute to all those facilities every 3 months. And we are able to support the work that they do. And so that's on the paid side.
Okay.
And I'm on secondment with Caritas.
Okay.
Yeah. So I work as the programs manager for Caritas Freetown. So that's how I have 2 jobs. Well, I have a third one now because with Sick Picking Project, I'm the lead campaigner.
Okay.
So
but you're not getting paid though.
I don't get paid.
Right. So
but it can be very demanding sometimes, even than my 2 paid jobs combined.
Right. Because people are depending on you. You know what I mean?
Because with Sick Picking Project, so not only the people that depends on you, so you also depend on a lot of people. So even someone who wants to give $2, they will ask you a minimum of 10 questions
for the
$2.
I know.
So we've had circumstances where these very beautiful old women, one day we were begging on one Saturday in front of the law court building, and well-dressed old women, you will believe that they will put some pounds even. The way they were asking the questions and everything. And when we finished answering, they said, "May God bless you, Naya."
Hey.
I mean, we're grateful for the blessings.
But still,
we
no,
don't
man.
just
We
need
want
blessings.
money.
We need money. We need money. We're so desperate sometimes. And I wake up sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning, literally crying and be very frustrated because there are too many kids, and the families of those kids don't understand that we have to beg. They believe I have a magic power to be able to find money.
Do it,
And because they see some of the successes that we've been able to, meet along the way, that we've achieved, they always believe that if you can get a problem, just go to Charles. He will fix the problem. All the problems can be fixed by Ishmael Charles, which is not the case.
Right.
We still have to run to the people
to get money
and use platforms like this to appeal to people so that they can come to our aid, so we can bring the help to the people.
So that you definitely it's hard. It's hard because,
Very
like you said, they're dependent on you and they think it's magic. However, it's not. And then you have a wife. How many kids do you have?
So that's a very good question. I really have a lot of kids.
Okay.
Biologically, I have 6 kids.
Excuse me?
And
6 kids?
And I have 4 others that are adopted.
Okay. So
And
your house is full.
And I have about 16 others that don't live within my house, but 12 of those are actually considered to be our everyday family members.
So you're responsible for all of these
My
kids
wife,
financially.
my sister, and I pays school fees for those 12 others.
Okay.
So we have a small program we call John Top Girls.
Okay.
It's the community where I live in Rockhill, and we pay school fees for those kids and we mentor them.
Okay.
And so they all see me as a dad.
Oh, I mean, it's cool as long as you can
so-
afford to do that. I mean, you got 2 jobs, so it's okay.
Not so easy.
I know, right? But still, with all these kids, what do you do for fun? How are you able to say today, it's family, like my wife and my kids, all those kids, because they're part of you now, and then not worry about the others? Like, when do you?
Well,
really...
the good thing is 3 of those kids are actually stay in the United States. They
Okay.
stay in Chicago. Well, one of my eldest one is 19 now, so
Okay.
she's now enrolled in the military in the United
Okay.
States. She's still in the training school in Virginia. The 2 came for holidays, so they're leaving back next week.
Okay.
2 of the girls, well, interestingly, all the girls are in the States. Yeah, and the other ones are here. But the fact is, I always try to make time for family. There are
Oh, that's
certain
good.
times when it's just too much in me, and they do understand my work, and they understand the passion that I have for my work, and they're very, very supportive.
Well,
My
that's good.
wife, gets, along on the street with me when we beg. So if she's coming from work, before she start begging, she will help me first to put first money into my box. It's a rule, right? It's a little rule. She will have to donate money into my box, and then she
And
will
then she
join.
takes out her box,
Then
and
she
then-
will take her own box and start helping to raise money.
That's
So,
cool. So she really believes in this as well. So
Yes.
I mean, you mentioned earlier about waking up in the middle of the night and just crying.
It's
That's
very, very
major.
So
you know
many
what I
a
mean?
times she will come and say, "Daddy can't go sleep now. You do so."
Like,
I know say you want to get all the problems solved, but you cannot solve all the problems in this country. So just go to bed. There will always be another problem tomorrow.
Okay.
Even if you try to fix this one today. And most times what I'm doing in those times is I will literally send messages into the boxes, the messenger boxes of almost 1,000 or 2,000 people among the 5,000 friends that Facebook allows me to have. So I'm always broadcasting my message, and especially when the heat is on my neck, when it's taking too long and I feel like I've not done much to reach out to more people. And all the contacts, the almost 7,000 contacts on my phone, I will broadcast my message of beg to almost everybody, and including the WhatsApp groups that I am in. So just answering to my WhatsApp messages sometimes is a whole day job.
It's a whole day. I mean, it's a good thing you have that, a supportive wife like that, because if she wasn't really in it, it would have been an issue, because it's more like, okay, but at least, when I see the big when I see they spend time, you better to go to the job and say, okay, how you box? But thank you so much for coming here. Really appreciate you and what you do for Sierra Leoneans, because this is for all of us. You know what I mean? Not everybody has the heart. Not everybody can do it. It's not like they don't want to do it, but you're there. I mean, we're going to see how we can help in our own little way. So if somebody wants to help right now, how can they reach you?
So we can be reached in very many ways.
Okay.
Our physical address is at 19 Savage Street. That's
Okay.
Caritas Freetown's office.
Okay.
So Sick Pikin was born by Caritas, so Caritas still allows.
It lent to the office.
Even though Sick Pikin is a separate legal registered entity,
Okay.
But Caritas, still provides that big brother kind of relationship thingy.
Okay.
So we're there at 19 Savage Street, adjacent St. Anthony's Church.
Mm-hmm.
But also we have a website on www.sickpikin, as in PIKIN.org.
Okay.
We also have a Facebook page. We had one that was stolen, but we still have an active one on Sick Pikin International.
Okay.
Yeah, Sick Picking. The one with the international is the one that is still active.
Okay.
We're registered in the United States. We're registered in the United Kingdom. So if you want a tax deduction and you want to donate,
they're eligible.
You're eligible to do so.
So that's great. So I
And-
think, what I would say as well is try to see how you can get, some international partners and stuff. I know you've tried, but I'm just saying, I still got to put it in. Now that I know that it's registered in all these places as well. So even if you have a connect, to partners that really do some of these things.
And one of the things that we ask people for, it's not money. If you have a hospital where you know somebody and they're willing to do one surgery for us for the year, we're grateful.
Okay.
Those are the kind of opportunities we look for. So we've had a hospital in Spain, in Madrid, that did one surgery for us. We've also had one hospital in Italy, a hospital called Bambino Gesù, did one surgery for us. So those are the kind of situations. And those surgeries were done. They could have actually cost, for the surgery in Spain, could have actually cost us $12,000, and it was done for free. And we only spent about 6 million leones. And also for the one in Italy, could have actually cost us $15,000, but it only cost us 5 million leones.
Okay, so you heard from him. Anyway, any help, not help. No, so just the money.
Yeah.
Connection back really, really matter. Thank you. It's been great.
Very welcome.
Blessings. I don't know mommy. We still will say, let God bless Una, you and the family and everybody else, all the ambassadors, because I know Kinder and them are really ambassadors of Sick Picking Project.
Yes.
Let God bless you all, and let we all come together and really help, because then picking that, so we didn't seek not to double business, because salon quick we don't say, oh, na double picking at this. Overseas it happened, then they did beaucoup. It's just that we, the Africans, of course, they look at the other way, but you don't see the success stories. So it's real. Things are happening. 296 kids. Not all have made it, but they, these are the kids that have come through to him. And right now, 68 still they wait. So anywhere where you will help, come on and help us. Nobody leaves my set without a gift. I have a gift for you, just to say thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I don't want to go, but I've got to go. I've been your host today, Ellen Keister. Till next week. Bye.